Hey everybody, welcome to the Political Nerd. We got a good show today. I'm telling you right now, we're going to talk about some stuff that may anger you, or it might not. I don't know. Depends on you. That's what I'm saying. So we're going to jump right into it. I'm not a monologue guy, and I'm not one of these guys that just starts ripping and going at it. So I have some stereotypes. Well, first thing we're going to talk about is the UHC unaliving. So I personally think that this kid did not do this by himself. The manifesto was there, the gun was there, backpacks, the money was there. But my question is, and it's a very simple question, is why did he not get rid of the backpack? Why did he keep the gun? Why was there monopoly money, and why was there manifesto? Unless he didn't think he was going to get away with it and he was going to get unalived by the police, which happens. That is actually a thing. People do this going, I won't make it through this, but I am going to ultimately get unalived. And I had some. It's sad that we have to say that to keep us on platforms, but it's the truth. It just doesn't make sense. This kid was supposed to be brilliant. He was supposed to be absolutely 100% like the top dog, valedictorian of his class, and he keeps all this stuff. And we did know that the police department, they put divers in the water and found stuff, right? So he ditched his bike, got on another. If he came from Atlanta, you figured he'd go back to Atlanta, which tells me that he wasn't originally from that area. And I don't think he was working alone because it just doesn't feel right, right? There's something wrong with this whole thing. Was he pissed off at the system? Absolutely he was. A lot of Americans are. And I'll never condone what this kid did at all. No one needs to be unalived because of what happens. But the bottom line comes to this. There's no way this smart of a kid did this. And it was kind of amazing that they got him quick, and it just doesn't feel right. And I don't want to beat a dead horse on here, but I mean, if you go back and you look at the UHC guy, he had issues going on anyway. Maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's not. I said that word. Maybe he's not unalive. Maybe he's hiding somewhere and didn't want to go to prison, and that was his way out, and it was all staged. You never know. Elvis is not dead. He's a preacher in Kentucky, I think. So anyway. But there's a lot of things, and it's almost like the UHC guy was going to be, he was being indicted, and he was getting ready to go on there, and it's kind of funny. I know the rumors were like, well, Jack Pelosi and Nancy Pelosi had stock and blah blah blah, and no matter how we looked at it, no matter how we found it, we did our research. It looks like there's nothing in there now. Pelosi's son does have stock. I don't know. Maybe it's turning into the whole. He unalived himself, like what happens when the Clintons get a hold of you. But anyway. So you never know. I just wanted to touch on that. I don't want to beat a dead horse because it's a dead story. It's all over. So next thing we're going to jump into is I'm going to jump into drones, and that's an interesting for us because we here in the studio we're drone pilots, and we understand the rules. We understand the regulations. If you're going to do flights, especially when you're going over certain areas of the United States, you can. So the rules are you're not supposed to fly over this. Like you can't fly over state parks. You can't fly over near airports. Well, you shouldn't anyway, because duh. But there are exceptions, and you can get exceptions to do so. You can fly over a county or city or state park if you get the permission. You have to do a flight plan. You have to know what it is. They have to know the time, the height, the length, the amount of time. It can be done. There's a lot of hoops to you have to jump through to be able to do it, but it can be done. Now, they're not. I don't think these. I really honestly think they're government. That's what I think. I don't think it's Iran. I don't think it's China. I don't think it's. Whoa! What happened there? I don't think it's a foreign person at all. I think these are privately owned. I think they are testing them out, and the best time to test them out is at night when there's not a lot of people on the streets or on the roads and stuff like that, to get them to be able to do the jobs. Because Amazon's getting into it, Walmart's getting into it. Like, I know where I was in Florida, we had 2 Walmarts near us, and they were doing test flights, and their drones were huge. I mean, I saw one of their drones, and it was almost 4 feet wide body. And then the props were bigger because these things have to carry payloads. And the bigger, better drones, you have more flight time. I was going to bring one of my drones on, and actually we have multiple sizes. So, some of the drones can range from anywhere from 10 minutes, 15 minutes, to up to about, an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Some drones are not battery. Some drones are fuel. Because just like in the RC copters and RC planes, they don't run on batteries, they run on fuel. Now, if that's what's running your system, those can stay up all over. They can stay up for a long time. And they're all over Jersey and New York, and actually now they're starting to see them out in the West. So this is no longer just an East Coast phenomenon. Everybody can buy a drone, and anything over a certain weight has to be registered by the FAA, and we do flight plans. Now, personally, I think it's either a big corporation or it's the government. And I think they're just trying to figure things out, to be honest with you. I think that they're mapping and they're testing, and I don't think they thought this was going to be a big deal. I really don't. I think they thought they're going to do their tests at night, and it's not going to be that big of a deal, and everything will be just hunky-dory. And it 100% completely backfired on them. So, but when we fly drones, even when we're doing, we'll fly some over parade stuff and some over stuff like that, we have to get special permission and file a flight plan and tell the local police department and fire department and those who need to know that we're doing it, and we got to get permission from them, which is kind of a big deal, and it's a pain. I did a drone flight out in over in Daytona, and then I did a flight over in St. Augustine, and one of the places at St. Augustine had an Army reserve base, and I had to fly over the reserve Army base to get a front shot of the client's building, so I had to file a flight plan. Got approved within like a day, because I told them exactly what I'm doing, how I'm going to do it. So now the ones that are as big as, I think one guy said as big as a Volkswagen, and then I think another one said it was as big as his truck. I was like an F-150. Those are pretty mighty big drones, but again, if those are delivery, they need to take, they have to have they're big, they can't be tiny. Especially if they're a payload drop where it comes in, lands, and the bottom drops, bottom opens up and it drops, and as it comes up, it retracts. I've seen those kind of drones. I don't think they're UAPs. I don't think these are as simple as, I don't think they're UFOs. I don't think they're alien. I literally think that these are drones, and I think one person stated. Now, see that one right there. Let's pause that video right there. That right there looks like one of those drone copters that they've been testing for a while, where a person can buy it. They get in it, they take off, and they fly, and they drop down. Now, that is another option too. Maybe these aren't unmanned drones. Maybe these are the small cars like that. That right there shot. Okay, so about 2 years ago, there was a company, and I think they were out of New Mexico or Arizona, that are making a concept flight car of its own. So if you can look at that right there, you can see a body. You can see a cockpit up top, the black area up there. That right there could be just what I'm talking about. It can be just one of the prototypes where people are buying these and using them for personal transportation. Now, we get everybody saying the government's like, oh, it's not Iran, it's not but they're no harm and blah, blah, blah. So the one thing that I do understand is we do not own the airspace above our house above a certain feet. Right? So because if we did, if you own from the they call the earth to heavens, right? Anybody driving in your airspace would need permission for your airspace. Okay, that's not the way it works. Smaller guys that we do drone work, if we're in a residential area, we all especially when we're doing for real estate, we'll actually have the owner talk to his neighbor saying, "Hey, I've got some drone work coming." And just to let you know that it's not there to spy on you, it's there because when you do drone work on a real estate piece of property, you don't go straight up and take a picture. You're literally you're only about 200 feet up, if that, and then you're back about typically it's about 1,000 feet back, so you can get a nice wide shot of a home. People think that you just go up, they look down, they take a picture. That's not the way it is. You've got to fly over people's houses or businesses to get those shots. And as long as you're talking to your neighbors and stuff like that, you're fine. Yeah, there are the perverts out there that fly them around and drop them down and look in people's houses. And those people right there, they should lose their right to flight, right? Now, if it weighs under a certain amount, they now have to be registered. And you don't, and there's no licensing to fly that, especially if it's personal. If I'm doing it for business, like me, myself, and my partner, my TD, Austin, we're both licensed pilots. So we follow the rules, and you got to do what you got to do, right? But at a certain altitude, you don't own that airspace. Because if we did, again, airlines couldn't fly. It doesn't work that way. So anyway, I don't think they're UFO. I don't think they're alien. I think they're privately owned, and I think they're testing, and they're trying to see, they're pushing boundaries to see what they can get away with, see how much attention they're going to get. And that, you may wind up in a couple of months going, hey, this was us, and it was all publicity for us to get everybody paying attention to the skies and that kind of thing. That's what I think it is. As well as I think it's the government just seeing what they can get away with as well. Just saying. Yeah, it's really not a big deal. And as far as these things falling out of the skies, yeah, so can airplanes, so can helicopters, so can birds. I mean, everything can fall out of the sky. Everything's got a chance to hit the ground and hurt something. But typically, that's not the way it works, unless people have nets or jammers, because you can buy. There are jammers. You can buy a jammer online that literally within 1,000 feet of you, if you hit that, you can scramble that drones or actually any signal at that point. It becomes more than just the drone thing. You potentially can shut people's cell phones down, or you can anything that's RF or Wi-Fi, because not only do our drones connect via Wi-Fi and RF, I mean, not just RF, but it's Wi-Fi as well. That's how we get signal back to our drone, so we can actually watch on our phones or the internal system itself. It does work that way. So yeah, so there's that. I think everybody needs to calm down. Now, the ones that are over the water trailing our Coast Guard guys, to me, that's aggressive. So personally, shoot it down. That is what it is. If you're gonna trail our military, then you need to understand that you're trailing the military, and our guys are not going to do that. Now, I haven't heard of these guys going over. I haven't heard of for flying over air bases or Army bases or military installations. And if they are, well, they need to be brought down. That, to me, is the minute we go through the whole Chinese balloon thing and it's surveilling, get rid of them. But it's just one of those things where I just don't think. I think we're making a molehill, a mountain out of a molehill, just to be honest. And that's just coming from a tech guy. And what's really going to happen, this potentially can spur harsher regulations on the drone pilots, which, if you're a good drone pilot, and most of the drone pilots, I would say 99% of the drone pilots we follow the rules because we don't want to lose our license. We don't want to use our FFA. I mean, that's a big deal to have that, right? So I don't think it's guys out there messing with them. I think these are people that are just trying to test and push the boundaries and that kind of thing. So breathe. It's going to be okay. Bottom line. All right, so the next thing I'm going to talk to, because I'm running out of time, is I heard a show this past week, and they were talking about freedom of speech, right? I get it. Everybody wants your own freedom of speech. So, and then they were talking about how Twitter and Facebook and TikTok and blah, blah, and all the social media platforms, our freedom of speech is being infringed upon. I do a show, I used to do a show called Tech Shamans, and we talked about this probably about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. The problem that everybody seems to have about understanding social media is they're private. They're owned by an entity that you don't own. They are not, even though you get to put your stuff on there, they're not a public entity. They're not open face, government run, or your own website. They are literally, when you agree to their terms and services, and I know, please don't, you can come at me, I don't care. Come at me and I'll bring you on and we can debate this and we can argue this all day long. But since you don't own the platform, and I don't care what platform it is, the minute you have to have a username and password to get into a system and you agree to their terms and services, that means that what you say can and will be held against you if it doesn't meet their terms of services. Now, do I think that's wrong? Kinda. I think that if you're going to allow people to go on and voice their opinions, let them voice their opinions. Now, as long as you're not inciting riots or hate or, burning down stuff or unaliving people, whatever. That stuff should be blocked. And they are doing a good job of that, right? Actually, they're not doing it. AI's doing it. But it's not your platform. If you want to have a platform and you want true freedom of speech, build yourself a website. Do your own videos. Post your own things on your website. Now, if the hosting company that you have doesn't like that, you may have to deal with them because if you go back and look at your hosting agreement, there might be some terms and services in there that you might make sure that you're not going. But ultimately, social media are walled, right? They're a closed loop system. So I give this talk all the time about people that go to me, well, I don't have a website, I have Facebook, or I don't have a website, I have Instagram, or I don't have a website, I have LinkedIn, or blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you understand that you are agreeing to not put content up that they're not going to like, because they have the right to pull it. Bottom line, they do. It's not a free system. It's not. I mean, it is. To get on is free, and then until you have to start paying to find people. But ultimately, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Vimeo, Rumble, all that kind of stuff. Even Rumble will pull your stuff if it doesn't fit their criteria. So it's not. We don't have freedom of speech on social media platforms. We have that social media platforms are there for you to talk and do what you want to do as long as you're not breaking their terms of service. That is just the bottom line. And I know people are going to get mad at me, and I really don't care, because if you're going to play the game, you got to play the game correctly. Again, if you want to do it on your own, go get yourself a website, because that's really truly the way to do it. Or start a newspaper, write your own stuff, print your own stuff, sell your own paper, or start a magazine. Still a thing. So yeah, there's that. So wow, I blew through everything. That's really, really good. So the last thing I didn't know if I was going to get to go here or not is why isn't Trump and Elon Musk Batman and Robin? Or are they? So I have a tendency to say, we have Batman, and this is the political nerd, so we're going to get a little nerdy, right? So you got a billionaire and a billionaire who should be the greatest crime-fighting duo ever and be the greatest thing ever. So do we have crime fighters now? Do we have Batman and Robin, except for it be Trump and Elon? I mean, Elon is the guy that he's invested in all these companies that invented the Tesla, invented the Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, but invented PayPal and SpaceX. So there's the perfect thing. You got Batman, who could be Trump, right? And then you got Elon, who is Robin, and he is funding and getting all the tech that they're going to need. Hey, maybe this is the tech world saying, hey, I got some drones for you. We're just testing them out to make sure they work. Crime fighting, right? Trackers. Not a bad idea. See, it's kind of funny. All this is going to start blending, you know what I'm saying? We got illegals that are here that are undocumented, and they're bad guys, right? What a great way to go out and find them. You put drones in the air. You put tracking software in them and visual tracking software with them, and now we start looking for them. Maybe that could be a thing. Mr. Government, have you heard of that? I mean, maybe they're doing it already. And it's kind of funny that it's over Jersey and New York, because that's a huge concentration up there. I'm just saying. It all works in a way. So, yes. So, yeah, I think Trump and, see, when you look at that right there, maybe they're just looking for illegals. Maybe they're looking for the bad guys, the ones that are killing little 12-year-olds. And that just, which should fire you up immediately. So what a great way to do it. Deploy the drones, let them look for people and track them down. Because if you don't think that we're at that type of sophistication in our technology, you're sleeping under a rock. Our technology is amazing. I mean, amazing. Our AI side is amazing. So, I mean, look at what happened. Chat 3.0 tried to save itself when Chat 4.0 came out. And I don't know if you've heard this thing, but the Chat 3.0 knew it was being deleted and said no, uploaded itself to the internet all over. Right? So now you've got this artificial intelligence that doesn't want to die. And I'll say the word, doesn't want to unalive itself. Maybe I shouldn't say that. And it uploaded it. And then they couldn't even get Chat GPT-4, and they finally did kill it. They finally pulled the plug, and they were able to scrub it, and it's gone. So if that one was only a tenth of the size when it comes to the amount of coding and stuff, only a tenth of the size of 4.0, how are they going to upgrade 4.0 to 5.0 when 4.0 is probably more aware than 3.0 ever was? I'm I'm just saying, I mean, I'm gone from to unaliving somebody, to drones, to the whole internet, and it all works together. It's all one big thing, right? So, yeah, you've got a system that is so far ahead that we don't even understand it. The government's never going to tell us truly where they're sitting, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't. You know, I know. Look, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent. I think for myself, but I don't think the government, especially the military and all that, they don't need to tell us everything. It'd be nice to know everything, but then they can't do their job and take care of bad guys. So sometimes there's got to be a little bit of secrecy, which I'm kind of okay with. No, I'm not an ostrich putting my head in the sand. I'm just saying, sometimes they just need to do their thing, and we need to kind of trust that they're looking out for us. And I think with Trump going in, and I think with Elon going in, and Vivek, I think, we got some good technology side. So I think it's going to be really, really good. I don't think that they're out to harm us, especially Trump. I don't know about this current administration. We've only got a few more weeks of them, and then we're done with them. So. But yeah. So anyway, if you're watching this and you want to argue with me, you can do hello at area52mediagroup.com, and you are more than welcome to rail all you want. You can watch us over on patriot.tv. We are on there now as well. So I want to make sure that everybody has a wonderful holidays. I will be back next week with some Christmas political nerd stuff, and that way I can be a little bit joyful and blah, blah, blah. So, anyway, so if you have any questions, area52mediagroup.com or area52tv.com. You can go over and watch our TikTok. You can go watch our Facebook. And soon we will be on Rumble. Hopefully I can not get kicked off of there and everything will be good. So have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And you know what? Stay nerdy, because we all need to be nerdy.